What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a spark plug and coil pack upgrade on the BMW F30. Alright, so the main reason why you'd want to do a spark plug and coil change is just a regular service for the car. So my F30 just hit 100,000 miles. I want to say it's been about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. So around that time is when you want to kind of go ahead and do these kinds of service things, regular service things for the car. So I will be upgrading to a Dinan Motorsports coil pack made specifically for this car. It's not entirely necessary for running a boot mode tune. I've mentioned it before, but this is running a stage 2 boot mode tune, and it has been running that for about 70,000 miles, and I've had no issues with the stock coils and spark plugs. But since it is time to go ahead and change them, I figured I'd do a little bit of an upgrade anyway, just kind of future-proofing the car and hopefully give it a little bit more spark that it needs. So to get started, the first thing you're going to want to do are take off these plastic covers here. The only ones you really need to take off are the main engine cover and the DME cover. I'm going to go ahead and take this one off to get it out of the way. So let's grab those off. You just kind of pull up on those. There's like 4 little nipples in there. Same with this one, just lift up. There's like 3 points on there. So you might be noticing that the car is missing an air filter. And the reason for that is I am currently chasing down a coolant leak as well, trying to figure out where I'm losing coolant on this car. Kind of a common theme I've had with this for the past 2 years. I've had the water pump fail. I've had some auxiliary coolant lines fail. I've actually just changed one here that goes to the turbo a couple weeks ago, but still having some coolant issues, so chasing that down as well. But with all that off, the next thing we're gonna do is remove these cowls up here. All right, and so to get these off, there's just gonna be 3 plastic nuts up here. Those are a 10 millimeter, so you don't even really need a ratchet. You can just kind of do these by hand. You're just going to turn them clockwise. You'll see there are some arrows on them that are pointing together, so you just want to twist counterclockwise, like a quarter turn. That'll come off. You'll feel it loose. There's a little pull tab right here. Just lift up on that, and that'll come out like that. Repeating the same thing on the other side here, so just a quarter turn. This one is clockwise, so kind of mirrored from the other side, maybe. Yeah. Lift up, pull it out, and it'll come out. All right, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of some of this rubber to expose our strut bar here. So this is a standalone piece you can kind of take off here. It's got a little bit, there's a couple clips connecting it. I don't know if you can see that right down here, but you don't have to take that fully off. You can just move that out of the way right there. Same thing on the other side. And then on this other side, this one has a little extra clip here, but again, we're just gonna kind of move that out of the way. All we really need to get to is that one E-Torx bolt that's holding the strut brace tower in. So it looks like I'm gonna need to take this line out as well. Okay, so if you'll see here, there's a line that runs inside of that little rubber. There's a little bit of a rubber grommet there. And so basically we're just gonna pull that line out and kind of have it floating. So just take your time, fish that out. Comes out pretty easy. Let that chill. Then we should be able to take off the rest of this rubber fitting around the strut brace here. Yep, that came out. And now the reason we're doing all of this, if I haven't mentioned before, is to get to the 4th coil. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4th one's buried back here under this cover. So all of this extra work just to get to that one little piece. So with all of that out, now I believe we are ready to take off the tower brace. And to do that, we have 2 they've been listed as E20 bolts online, but I have an E18 socket that fits on it well, so we're going to use the E18, but try an E20 if you have one. And then if you'll see, these go up here into these right here. I'm going to pop those covers off, and I believe it is a 16 millimeter flathead here. Try to get under that, pop it up. without marring it up. It's a little bit brittle. Yeah, it looks like a 16 regular hex bolt in there. So that is the next step, is to undo all of that, and then that that bracket should come out. And I should be able to hopefully fish that out. There's a little bit more plastic I see, but we're gonna try to get around that. So let's see. So first off, we're gonna hit this E20/E18 here. Oh wow, it's probably gonna be tough to break. Oh no, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Loosen both of these up. Then I've got a long 16. We'll try to break these. Yep. Okay. Back everything fully out. There's one. Okay. Whew. All right, so that is loose now. So this whole strut tower brace should just pop right out of here like that. All right, so next up in the long list of random parts you gotta take off, we have this last final plastic cover here. So we're getting our tin back out, and we're just gonna take these out. I believe there are 6 in total, but don't quote me on that. So we'll take these carefully out. The cutout is like just offset to where I can't really get in there straight. And then I think there's 3 more on the other side. So I got scared when I first saw this cover, because you see there's a line right here that goes to the slave cylinder for the brake. And I thought, oh God, am I gonna have to disconnect that and then bleed the brakes after just to do this? But thankfully there's a little cutout around it. So this little plastic shroud that we're taking off doesn't actually touch that at all. Thankfully, because that would have been annoying. Totally on brand though for BMW. Okay, and I actually only have one more. There's one missing here, so I'm guessing somebody's worked on this before and lost one. Well, that's cool. Those are out, and then there's one more sneaky one right here where that DME cover was. I'll grab that out. That's the one that should have went missing, if any of them. So that was 7 total if yours isn't missing one. And then this whole plastic bit will come out. It is being held on by a little pinch clip here to this cool little clip. But you know what? I honestly cannot be bothered to take that off, so I'm just gonna hang that right there. Look at that. Perfect. Now, as you can see, we have access to that final vibration cover, so we're just gonna watch this loose line and then we'll be able to take this off. This nice little bit of foam, ooh, which probably does a little bit of like noise dampening and fire retardant, so I'll set that aside. And now we have access to all 4 coils, you can see there. So now we'll start with the change. All right, so the first step here, I'm just gonna work front to back. So the first step here is to undo this little clip. So you're gonna pop that up. And I found BMW clips, you kind of want to push down on that a little bit to walk it out. Maybe. There we go. Man, that thing did not want to let go. Anyway, so with that off, you're going to take your E10 on a small ratchet and carefully undo the coil. Once that's loose, the coil should just kind of pop out with a nice satisfying little thunk. So that is your stock coil. And then we're gonna look down in that hole. It's clean. You wanna make sure that's clean. You don't want to take out that spark plug if that hole's not clean, because then any debris that's in there is gonna go right down in the hole. So we don't want that. So to remove the spark plug, you could get a nice long spark plug removal socket. I bought some, but they were not long enough because these spark plugs are really long for whatever reason. So what I have here is the classic like garage mechanic setup. I've got an extension with a 15 mil with a little bit of electrical tape so that it's gonna grab. I'm gonna grab another extension to add onto this. All right, we are double extended, double cheeked up out here. Let's lower that in. I don't think we have a bite on it. I don't know, let's see, maybe we do. But I didn't really feel like I got a bite. This socket's just a little too thick. Cool, so back to the drawing board. I'm gonna cover this up, just again to protect that hole. Cover that like that, just to protect that hole. Let me try to find a better socket / go buy one. All right, so I just ran to Advanced Auto Parts to grab this 14mm thin wall spark plug socket. So hopefully this is what we need to get in there. I'm still gonna use an extension, I think. So let's try this. Should be a 14mm. So get the coil out, double checking for a clean hole. And now, oh yeah, much better. Let me grab that second extension still though, because that's pretty deep in there. There we go. All right, it's the first one out. And as you can see, that dude is pretty used. So it's good to change those. All right, so with that out, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the new plug and coil, ignition coil. So there's the original. You can see it is the BMW original NGK R5. Pretty old. Let's grab one of the new ones and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so this is what we're working with now. We've got these NGK Iridium, Laser Iridium. So these are the new upgraded ones. Here's that number for you guys if you also want to use these or just get that kit. And then this is one of our Dinan Motorsports coils. And these are pretty cool because it's blue. Not that you'll ever see it. It's kind of cool, right? So first things first is to get the spark plug in there. Now you do have to torque these down. I do have the torque specs for you. So for the spark plugs, we're gonna want 25 Newton meters. So let me grab my torque wrench. My torque wrench reads in foot-pounds. So let me do a conversion real quick. It looks like 25 Newton meters is about 18.4. Don't know why that started playing. So 18.4, 18, right around there-ish. So hopefully, you know, that's right. We'll feel it out, right? Yeah. So throwing the extension onto my torque wrench. I'm gonna grab our new plug. You wanna be careful with plugs, you don't wanna drop them. It's our fresh plug. And I mean, I probably don't have to tell you this, but no gapping or anything with these new plugs. You just kinda throw it in as is. So we will throw that into our socket here. This one is magnetic, so it's got a good grab on it, so it can't drop that. We'll lower that in and we'll start getting it secured. I'm gonna go by hand until it gets kind of tight, and then we will let the torque wrench do the rest of the work for us. Okay. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, that should be 25. So there's one done. We're going to assume that our conversion was correct and that 18.4 is the correct torque for that. So if not, you'll hear me screaming later and I'll come back on here and tell you that that was not. So now we're going to take our new coil. It's going to go in just like the old one did. So just kind of getting that guy in there. I'm going to kind of get it to seat that guy down in there. Okay. And then we'll take our 10, our E10. Go ahead and kind of get that started in there. That's one done. Let's go for the second one. So we'll get the clip off. All right, got the second clip off. That was a doozy. There's some oil on the bottom of where the clip connects. Don't know what that's about. But check the hole. Looks clean, so now we're going to grab out that second spark plug. These are in here really tight. I don't know if that's just an overtime thing. It probably is. But man. Second one out. Nice and dirty. We'll get a new one in place there. Let me grab another coil pack. We'll start throwing some of this in here too. All right, new plug, ready to go in. And we have a bite. So, get that going. I will say be really careful with those clips that are on the coil packs because they're brittle. I mean, I guess they're, you know, in the heat the whole time the car is on. But they're brittle. Broken off a couple pieces of the plastic, but thankfully the clip itself has stayed sound. I just, you know, kind of worries me. All right, coming up on torquing point. Okay, all right, it's 2 done. So everything else is pretty much the same as what we've been doing. So I'm gonna finish up those last 2 and I will rejoin you guys at the end here. All right, so as you can see, that is all 4 coil packs done. I'm sorry, all 4 ignition coils and spark plugs done. So what happens next is we just basically cover everything back up. So you put that cover, the foam, back on top of the back of the engine there, and then that plastic little shroud that was underneath the strut brace, the strut tower brace. But I'm actually going to leave all that off right now because again I'm still looking for this leak, so this is giving me a lot more like visibility into the engine. So I will show you guys after I have everything all put back together at the end, and we'll start the car up and see if we can hear it running. So see you guys in a bit with that.
System ready.
All right, you guys, that is the spark plug and ignition coil install done. As you can hear, the car is idling fine. It's really bright. So everything went according to plan. I guess a few takeaways, just definitely have that 14 millimeter thin wall. I think it was like a 12 point specifically spark plug socket that I had. Definitely helps with getting the spark plugs in and out. Don't try to just jerry rig something you have at home because it probably won't fit. You know, BMWs are very particular. Other than that, again, torquing down the spark plugs, it was 25 Newton meters, or what was around like 18 foot-pounds, I think. And then the strut tower brace, those also need to be torqued down to 54 Newton meters, which ended up being 40 foot-pounds. Those are the only real like specific torques that you have to have. Everything else is just going to be tight. All the covers are back on. So yeah, I'm going to be still dealing with this coolant leak issue that I'm having. I don't know if it's a consumption or a leak issue, so I'm actually going to probably take the car to a local shop here in a couple days and get them to pressure test the system and see what's going on with it. But the car runs and drives. It's just I'm having to add coolant pretty often, every 2 days. So that's not really sustainable, and it's probably only going to get worse. So I'm going to go and get that checked out. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this and you want to see more F30 car content, be sure to like and subscribe. That is all that I have for you guys today. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.